Oh, what is up, charming people? If you're new around here, my name is Luke. Lucas, they call me here in Mexico. I'm actually doing a bunch of talks this week for university, actually in Poland. And some of the things we're going to be talking about, and I gave a talk earlier this week as well, and I want to share with you was about adjusting to moving abroad or going abroad. But if you're traveling, then this will help you tremendously as well. But mainly if you're moving, this will help you even more. So a lot of my talks have been helping people to adjust, helping students to adjust. And it got me thinking to how I can add that value to you all. And these are three things that I wish I knew. Three things I wish I knew before I moved abroad. So I've been abroad for about 17 years now, or 18 years. No, I've been abroad 16 years. And I wish I had this information now, so you guys are extremely lucky today. And jumping right into it, the first thing that I really wish I knew before moving abroad was the power of adapting. Like at the end of the day, I gave a talk a little bit ago. I wish I would have talked more about this, but it's at the end of the day, it's about adapting. Like how well do you adapt to, not being able to go to a grocery store and find the food that you want quickly? How well do you adapt to being around people or having a situation at the airport or at the train station or bus station and it's last minute and they don't speak the language, they've messed up your ticket. Like how well do you adapt to that situation to make a quick decision? Because adapting, I think, so much is making a quick decision. How well do you make a quick decision? Like that, I'm telling you right now, one of the best things I've learned is make quick decisions. Making a quick decision because then you can fix it. But being in that mode of like, I don't know, not sure what, you could miss out on flights, on people, opportunities, just like that. And I wish I knew that making a decision quickly, but adapting and making a decision would help me tremendously. Being able to adapt, I remember the first time I was in Germany, living there. It was my first place I went to overseas. And I remember going to the grocery store. I was so hungry. If you guys don't know, I was a pro athlete for 12 years. So usually as a pro athlete, what happens is when you arrive with a new team, you've already signed contracts, you usually got some kind of payment already, and you arrive at the airport and there's someone from the team, a representative from the team, to come pick you up. And they usually take you home to your house that they're going to be in. They give you your keys to your car, tell you when practice is. That's literally about the extent of it. But this one was even different because the coach actually came pick me up, said my house wasn't ready, and for the first week of being in Germany, I was going to be staying in a hotel. So I got to the hotel and they had food and all this stuff, but I got there too late for room service. And I remember being so hungry and having some cash. Went to the grocery store and it was a huge grocery store. I couldn't find milk. Milk and cereal was the only thing I was looking for. I didn't know what half the stuff was I was looking at. And I could not figure out how to say milk or how to say I wanted cereal. And this was back in 2011 or something. So it wasn't even as popular translations. And I remember that feeling of just feeling so lost and helpless. And it's in those moments, like, how do I adapt in that moment? How resourceful do you get? Does anyone speak English here? Knowing that someone who speaks English hopefully will respond, or you're too shy, you just kind of walk around and like, I guess I'll just figure it out and lose a lot of time. So that ability, being able to adapt, helps me, and even to this day. And the second thing, out of three things I'm gonna tell you, the second thing is understanding that it never gets easier. Like I say, I'm currently in Mexico at this moment, recording this for you in my office. And like, there's things I have planned, there's trips I have planned, and it never gets easier. Even coming back here to Mexico a few days ago, it was like nervous because it could be different, and it will be different because not only is the place I'm going to different, but I'm different as well. And understanding that there's going to be new challenges. How do I get to more people? How do I reach more people? How do I influence? How do I help? How do I give? How do I be? How do I do more than I was doing before? And this mentality, like, well, after I've traveled a while, it'll get easier and then everything will be better. And the truth of the matter is it doesn't get easier. It doesn't get easier. And wishing that it gets easier, I think, is one of the scariest things that we can do. Because, for example, you can wish that things got easier, but what if you just wish that you got stronger or you got better? I remember I had this realization when I was living in Indonesia and the prices of everything were going up because no one was there and the businesses were losing money. So I was like, okay. And I remember thinking, like, I hope the prices can go down at some point. I hope the prices of everything can go down so then I can upgrade my house for not that much money, or I can upgrade my scooter, or eat more for less. And I remember thinking that, I was like, what a disempowering thing. What a disempowering thing. You're hoping and wishing that things go down so you don't have to work as hard, you don't have to get better, and you don't have to make more money. Why not want to just make more money? Like, that's something that you can actually control. And I had to tell myself that. That's something I can control. I can control how hard I work, what skills I acquire, how resourceful I get, the people I reach out to, the relationships I have. Why wish for it to get easier? How is that going to make you any better? Why wish for it to get easier? Like, and nowadays, I even to this day, like, I'll go around people and they're like, Luke, the place should be around here. Why don't you just Google a place to look, like, to go for a restaurant? Because I don't look up on Reddit or Happy Cow or these places to find food. Because I'm like, that makes it so easy. And then the day, if I'm so used to relying on this phone, I'm relying on my phone all the time to go places, like, what happens the day when I don't have it? I've trained myself to be connected to this. I was like, no, I don't want to lose that skill of talking to people, going up to random people on the street. Hey, do you guys know where I can get some food that's healthy? A market where I can get something without meat, where I can get something, like, we lose that ability sometimes because we get so comfortable with everything that makes our lives easier. And if you make it easier, then usually when you're making it easier, you're going to make yourself weaker just because it's easier. Because it means you're not growing if it's easier. If the weights get easier for you, it means you're not growing at the rate you should. Like, and you should be stretching that every time. On my watch, got my Apple Watch, and I'm always raising the calories of how much I'm burning each day. Because I'm like, yeah, I gotta drop about 14 pounds. And I'm like, well, dropping 14 pounds, like, I can't keep this at burning 1,650 calories a day. That's what I'm set to burn. So my workouts and everything, that's what I should be burning. But if I keep saying that gets so easier every day, then that's a sign that I need to increase how much I'm burning. So if things are too easier for you, use that as a sign. Not that I can sit back and chill out and relax now, but what if it was a sign to, like, it's time to, let's do more. We're capable of doing more now. And that for me was one of the big things that I realized, that it's never going to get easier, ever. Nothing's got easier. As I've got older, there's been nothing that's got easier. Nothing. I can't even think of anything. I've just gotten a lot stronger and a lot more experienced. Therefore, it seems easier, but in reality, you've just gotten a lot stronger. And the last and final thing I want to share with you guys is that I wish I knew, is that I was never alone. When I went overseas, my mentality was like, it's me against the world. You know, the first place I went overseas was Australia. You know, so 31-hour travel time, like, it's just me and my bag and my basketball shoes. Like, it's just me. I'm alone. I'm by myself. And that fueled me. Like, I got this. Like, it's just me. And then I had to realize, like, wait, Luke, no, now looking back and talking to that 22-year-old version of Luke, like, Luke, like, you weren't actually alone there. Because you say you were alone, but you weren't. Like, I remember back then I had the iPhone 3GS. Some of you guys older remember that. I was like, you had that phone. Remember when you had that phone, you reached out to all those people who had iPhones because you could message them? Do you remember you were writing all these people, asking them what places to go? Do you remember your good friend Tennille, who you went to college with, who you always joked about her accent? She lived in the same city you were, and you could reach out to her, and she came and helped you out. Like, do you remember those? Remember that? Like, there was never a point where you were alone. And that's what I tell myself, but I was like, at the moment, I was like, no, I was. But really? You didn't have those people come help you out? You didn't have those people come and help you cook? People show you around? People show you the best places to go? People introduce you to the people who introduced you to the people who introduced you to those people that got you exactly what you wanted? Really? You were on your own, really? But this whole lone fighter and this person who is just a soldier dropped in the middle of the desert with nothing but 4 bullets and a bottle of water. Like, that's how I felt. And that fueled me. But I think if I could have changed that mentality, be like, there's other people that are like me. There's other people that are feeling alone. There's other people who just got here. There's other people who moved here. There's other people who this is their first day. And when I started to shift that mentality, it made me not feel alone. And the less I felt alone, the more I felt more of like, oh, I got this. And not only that, but I'm not alone, so I can help out people who actually need a little bit of help. Because I'm not alone trying to figure this out. Because if it's just me trying to help out other people, then I actually have a lot of help, more help than I thought. Because how far would you have made it if you didn't have anybody's help? We think we do. I'm recording this video right now. I'm doing it on my own. Really, Luke? You're recording this on your iPad. On an iPad mini, actually. I'm gonna have a video coming out talking about my travel setup now. But did you build the iPad? Did you create this video? Like the pixels, recording it in 1080, did you create that? This light that you have up here, is that I created this light? Did I build that light or someone else did? Because the more we like to think that we're independent and alone, we lose our connection to people who are actually geniuses that pave the way for us to do what we do. I wish I could be there, you could be here listening to me talk. I wish you could be here, but you're not here. Which means if I didn't have this way of getting to you, I never would have got this information to you. So it's just a reminder of like how connected everything is and how like you think you're alone, but you're not. And if I would have known that, I would have been searching out for other people who were going through what I was going through, who was going through what I've already been through, that I could help. And it would have changed my mentality of just like me by myself out here. I gotta take care of me. And it would put me into this very big survival state. And like it made everyone I met like someone who not was a threat, but it was just like, I'm on my own, I got this. And not accepting help from people. When in reality, there's plenty of people. There's plenty of people in the country that you guys are gonna move to where you're like, I'm alone living here and I'm not from here. And there's people who are like, I'm alone living here and I am from here. They make a lot of money. They have plenty of friends, but they go home alone every night and they feel so alone. There's people like that where you go. There's people like that that you know, that you would have no idea about. And if I would have kept that in mind, I would have had a better idea of who I could help, who I could reach out to, and more so the connection that I would have with people that I didn't believe I had connections with because I thought I was alone. So, those are the three things that really helped me when moving abroad. But at the same time, that's helped me as I've traveled and went to different places, and I've taken those skills back. Many of you guys know I went back to the States and I was working. I have actually never worked a 9-to-5 job, and I decided to take one because in the States, nobody was working. And I was like, it's so weird. I mean, people are working, but there were so many opportunities to work. And I was like, if I find a job here, if I can get a job in the first week, I'm going to stay here for a few more weeks. If not, I'm just going to head back to Mexico. And I was able to find one. And I have a whole thing coming out about that soon. But I remember as I was there and I was working, and I worked a night shift. So I worked from 6 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. 3 days a week, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it was like having to flip my schedule like all the time. I was just like, I'm just starting to get back to like, oh, I can sleep tonight. Like, and actually I can't even sleep tonight because at 2 a.m. I'm giving a talk. From 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. tonight, I'm doing some speaking engagements for the next 2 days. So I'm actually not going to get to sleep, but I've been prepared for it. But I remember being back in America and working, in these same 3 lessons that I learned from overseas allowed me to excel in what I did. My ability to adapt with the tasks that were given to me, to find a way to make it fun. Understand that it's not going to be easier now that I know how to wake up and sleep and change my schedule, but I've just gotten a lot stronger. And at the same time, understand I'm not alone. Although it feels being bored here, I worked in a warehouse. I'll talk more about it in a little bit. I have to wait for some papers and like things to be official, and then I can talk about it. But I worked in a warehouse, and I was just scanning items. Okay, so some of you guys probably know where that is. And I kept doing that. I kept thinking like, man, I'm alone here. Just alone, get it done. I was like, no, what are you talking about, Luke? You're not alone. You're not even close to being alone. Look at all these other people who are doing the same job. But they have families, and some of them are alone. The lady who worked in front of me, she had four kids. And she's working night shift. Didn't sleep for 3 days when she worked there. She didn't sleep. She got 2 hours of sleep, then take the kids to school. Then she had a 3-hour break again where she had to go to sleep, then pick up the kids from school. And it was just like, you're not alone. And not only that, but there's people who feel way more alone than you do. Get out of your head. Stop thinking about yourself all the time. And these are things that just really click to me. And the more you can adapt to something, the ability, I wonder what is the, hey Siri, actually, what's the definition of adapt? I might not have internet here actually. But I'm pretty sure it's a pretty cool definition. Maybe you guys can look that up for yourself.
Still on it. Something went wrong. Please try again.
Well, I bet you the adapt has a very interesting definition. If someone could write that in the comments, that'd be great. But it has a very interesting definition. Because once you're able to adapt to something, things don't seem so bad. Like it's freezing cold where you are. If it rains, I remember the summer I stayed in Poland, it just rained all the time. So then it's like, well, if it's raining all the time, what if I adapted to it and I didn't hate it so much and I got used to it? And because I've adapted to it, I've prepared for it and I'm ready for it and I know what to look for. I know what to do on those days. I know how to capitalize and make those days better days than the days when the sun is out. Now my whole experience is going to change. I remember being in this last story. I remember being in Dublin, Ireland. And I remember I was there for like 4 days. And like on the fourth day, it just kept raining. Dublin is one of the most beautiful places if you took away the rain. Like I remember the gardens and everything. It was so nice. The parks. I remember just raining all the time. And on the fourth day, across from my hostel, I went to a Starbucks every day. I knew the people. And this time I walked into the Starbucks and no one was there except the people who worked there. And they're like, hey, what's up, Luke? I was like, what's up, guys? I was like, I have a question. How do you guys live with this rain? Don't you ever pray for the rain to stop? And one of the girls, without hesitation, she answered just like this. She said, I'll never forget what she said. She's just like, Luke, we don't pray for there not to be rain. That's crazy. All we do is ask God for the rain to be warm. And if there's one thing I can take away and think of that can help so many people, was that ability to adapt to what is. Loving what is and letting what is be what is instead of trying to make what is be what it is not. That applies to the weather, that applies to travel, that applies to new cultures, that applies to relationships, that applies to your parents, to your siblings, to your friends. Letting what is be what is. I think it was Katie Byron who said that. Like loving what is, just what is there, loving what is there, not trying to force it. So if there's something that can help you when you guys are moving abroad, take these 3 things. Practice it in your life right now before you're even abroad. Or if you're abroad, use it. Adapt. Adapt to something that's been bothering you. Adapt to it. Find a way to turn it, to use it to your advantage. You have a 9-to-5 job you hate or you don't like or that you're not really fully engaged in. Find a way to adapt to do it so that it fuels something so that you can finally break out of it. You're traveling, you don't like where you are, find a way to adapt to it, to find it, to let it serve you. Because you gotta remember, it's always 2 things are happening all the time. Either you're fulfilling the desire that you have, or you're increasing the desire that you have. At all times that's happening. You're increasing your desire for what you want. For example, I want a BMW 850. Right now, I love my motorcycle I have now, but I really want to get the BMW 850. But I have some other things that have to come first, and I might be too crazy on that right now. I'm going to grow up one day. But I really want it. So yesterday, one drove by, and one was at the gas station. Me and my fiance, we were going to go to our little hammocking spot, if you saw on Instagram. And we're at the gas pump, and the exact bike I wanted pull up. And she tapped me on my shoulder. She's like, your desire is increasing now, isn't it? And I was just like, yeah. It wasn't being fulfilled when I was sitting at the pump pumping up my bike, but didn't take away from what I had. I still love the bike that I have. I love my motorcycle. I love it to death, the one that I have here. And I just thought about that. I was increasing my desire. And if you can make these little shifts in your mind, it might not seem like much, but making these shifts, they allow you to not exude so much energy into, like, I hate doing this. I hate showing up. Like the job that I was at, there were so many people who complained all the time. Like it was fascinating to me. I've never been around people at a 9-to-5. I've always been in a 9-to-5 to do a talk, or we showed up, especially as a pro athlete, to sign autographs or to just present ourselves or to play with the kids, then we leave. But this time I was immersed in it. We worked together. We had our 15-minute break together. We had our 30-minute break, then another 30-minute break. And just hearing what was talked about. How much this is so stupid. I don't want to be here. It's like, guys, we have to be here. And I was thinking in my mind, I didn't say this, but my ego was thinking, of all people to be complaining, it should be me. This is the first time I've ever worked a job, and I don't have to be here. But I was like, it's just a habit of like finding how is it serving me. I'm like, oh, this is great working here. This buys me a ticket here. Oh, this paycheck is cool. This is like some secure money that I'm getting. Not up and down kind of as an entrepreneur. This is like some secure money I'm getting for a few weeks. Enjoy this. This is temporary. But even if I have to be there for 5 years, I'm still thinking it's temporary. It's an adaptation, mindset of adapting to something. Not that I'm gonna have to be in this forever, but adapting to like, I gotta get through this now so that I can get to what I want later. So I hope this video helped you out. If it does, leave a thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comments below. I love reading you guys' comments. Share this with a friend who needs this, someone who you know who's moving. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. I thank you guys so much. And in the meantime, I want you guys to remember to work hard, be brave. Oh, it's in reverse, but this says, and don't forget to smile. Work hard, guys, be brave, and don't forget to smile. Ciao.